Good evening, everyone. Thanks so much for having me here today. As you heard, my name is Osthus, which is Norwegian for Viva Las Vegas. I hope you can all see my little Norwegian flag earrings. Today is 2nd Mai. It's the holiday. I'm going to go to the Horny Troll at North Hall right after this. Please join me. So happy 2nd Mai. So I am a musician, as Poison noted. I am a writer. I love metaphor. I love paradox. I root for the underdog and I advocate for the devil. I love surprise endings. In music, I'm constantly listening for harmony and disharmony in order to make a beautiful song. I'm captivated by the rhythms that exist in every walk of life. I decided to run for mayor after 20 years of thinking about it because I love Portland and I believe in Portland. Also, I want change. I want to see more leaders who look like me, who are artists, who are musicians, who understand that the precious gift of an idea or an inspiration can, with enough hard work, be made manifest. More practically, I want for there to be places where artists like me can afford to live, to gather, and to exchange ideas, so that the crazy quilt of our communities remains intact. I want to tell you a story about the community fostered by the Laurelhurst Dance Center that was right over in the park there. Did anyone go to the Laurelhurst Dance Center or was a part of it? It was a really, really special place. I've been a dancer my whole life. I started very young with lessons, and as a preteen, I used my babysitting money to pay $76 per month to take unlimited classes at DeLang Dance Studio in St. Paul, Minnesota. It was my dream to be a solid gold dancer, and guess what? Under the name Viva Las Vegas, I've been dancing downtown Portland for 28 years, ever since I graduated from Williams College with a degree in cultural anthropology. Thank you, Boys and Waters. In 2015, I gave birth to a daughter. And from the time of her arrival, I was counting the months till she was 2 years old and could take dance classes at Laurelhurst Dance Studio. Set in the midst of the forest in a German-style timber-framed house, not unlike this one, the studio looked straight out of a fairy tale. Honestly, it seemed too good to be true that this beautiful house housed a dance studio. And even better, it was under the auspices of Portland Parks and Rec. That meant that a single mom like me, with just a little bit of budget wizardry, could afford to take classes there. Believe me, I was up at the stroke of midnight when the online registration opened up each term. Charlotte, my daughter, started as soon as she could at age 2. By the time she was 3, I was so smitten with Laurelhurst Dance Studio that I also enrolled in a class, Adult Intermediate Ballet. I was the youngest member in this class by at least 2 decades. There were only 4 of us. A 60-something woman who had been a professional dancer, a woman in her early 70s who was also very gifted, and a 79-year-old man who'd been going to Laurelhurst Dance Studio for almost 3 decades, but you really couldn't tell. The classes were rigorous. My dancer's body ached after each one, but I loved attending. I even loved the pain. So in late November of that year, after Thanksgiving weekend, and after our warm-up at the bar, the gentleman broke down in sobs. Our teacher turned down the music, and we all stood close by. The man's wife of 60 years had passed away on Thanksgiving. Yet here he was 4 days later in ballet class. Because, my friends, that is what community is for. That is what community centers are for. Communities are the lifeblood of our city, and community centers serve as acupuncture points where the life force becomes stronger and flows outward. You probably know that Laurelhurst Dance Studio closed in July of 2019, shortly before my daughter's 4th birthday. Many community centers around Portland closed at that time. The city council did not prioritize them in their budgets, and those beloved community centers closed their doors in the middle of summer when enrollment was at its high. And those communities that held each other through good times and bad were fractured. And the acupuncture point, the energy hub of those surrounding neighborhoods, went dead. Yes, Portland of 2024 is facing enormous trials that cannot be ignored or made light of. But I am campaigning to remind you that Portland is booming. It is gorgeous. It's filled with imaginative, conscientious people who really care about community and work hard to make this place a wonderful place to live. So I'm going to talk about my campaign a little bit. I do have platforms, actually, contrary to some opinions. My first platform, dearly held, is the environment, because without Mama Earth, we are all houseless. My environmental platform starts with our rivers. Our current civic dialogue paints our rivers as inconveniences to be bridged. My campaign centers and celebrates the Willamette and Columbia rivers as the life-giving entities that they are, that link all of our communities together. I want the salmon back. Walt Curtis. That's my stretch goal, the salmon back. But a more immediate goal is to finally address the ticking time bomb that is our critical energy infrastructure hub. Sitting precariously atop unstable infill alongside the Cascadia fault line that runs under Highway 30. Did you know that even a moderate 5.0 earthquake would spill millions of gallons of fuel into the rivers and would be the worst disaster in US history? It's long past time that this was addressed, and that would be my first priority. My second platform, very near and dear to my heart, you may have guessed, is to center the arts and small businesses in civic dialogue and in our budget. Artists are being pushed out by the high cost of living, and small businesses are shuttering for the same reason. Meanwhile, we have the highest vacancy rate of any downtown in the United States. It doesn't take much imagination to put forth a solution. Let the artists and the small businesses have the zombie buildings. My third platform, of course, is to address the twin crises of houselessness and addiction, and to address it compassionately and with urgency, knowing that every minute wasted is another death, another violent attack, another shuttered business, and another family moving away. While housing and healthcare are largely the purview of the county, I will, as your mayor, agitate for immediate resources from the federal, state, and local governments. I will collaborate with the many hardworking, inspired organizations that are already on the ground doing really hard work right now. And I will coordinate our resources and our funding, including demanding coordination from the state level so that each human being is treated like a human being and not like a pinball in some demonic machine. So Renee is right. Our next mayor will be the first mayor in a new system of government, and that is a template that will set the pace for years to come. This should not be a super council member position. Rather, this new mayor should be someone who leads with love, imagination, and empathy, and who reflects the best parts of Portland and to the world. I want a mayor who is a storyteller. I want a mayor who is a musician, who fights not just for law and order, but for beauty and for truth. I want a mayor who has a poet's soul and who uses all of her powers to talk to people across great divides in order to do the most important work of our time, healing our communities. Thank you.